Okay, first rule of previews and predictions. No matter what happens, always act like every prediction you ever made was right, and no one can convince you otherwise. Second rule, memorize rule number 1. Third rule, shut the fuck up about the rules already and get to the 5 games you'll be watching this weekend. First up, Juventus versus Napoli. Do you remember this time last season when Juve was 10 games in and they were struggling and everyone was like, this is Napoli's year. I mean, Roma is definitely gonna do it. And guess what? It wasn't their year. It was Juve's again for the 5th straight time. And now here we are, 10 games in, and Juve's on top, and Roma is 2 points behind them, and Napoli's 2 points behind Roma, and I'm just getting that itch, and I just want to scratch it where I say, you know what? Napoli's gonna do it this season. They're gonna figure out, or you know what? Roma has the team to break through. Like if Leicester can do it in England, then Roma can definitely do it in Italy, and we would be wrong. Juve's winning the league again and this game to shut us all up, I think. Maybe not. Because if Napoli beats them and then Roma beats Empoli, then Roma would go on top and Napoli would be a little bit closer. No! Stop! Don't fall for it! It's a trap! Next up, Borussia Dortmund versus Schalke. It is the Revier Derby, which is perhaps the biggest derby in all of Germany, unless someone can convince me otherwise. However, the current status of both of these clubs is probably the opposite of what you're thinking given their respective starts to the season and just their current reputation of what they're capable of. For instance, after losing their first 5 league games of the season, Schalke are unbeaten in 6 in all competitions, so they have some serious momentum right now. While Dortmund haven't won in the league in 3 games, they have 6 or 7 significant players out due to injury, and they barely got past 2nd Division Union Berlin in the DFB Pokal and penalties in midweek, so I don't see them beating anybody this weekend. My prediction? Dortmund won, Schalke won. And up now, Tottenham versus Leicester. The only undefeated team left in the Premier League, which is Spurs, versus last season's miraculous champions that are currently playing at a level that we've always expected out of them, which is in 12th, right in the middle of the table. Spurs come into this game having trouble scoring goals as of late and of not having won in 4 straight in all competitions, but Leicester have yet to win a game on the road this season. And since this game is at White Hart Lane, where Leicester won 1-0 last season, there are a few factors at play. 1, Spurs just want to get revenge for last season to atone for those mistakes. 2, they just want to make things right during this winless streak and hit the back of the net. And 3, I think they just believe they have a better team than Leicester, but they have to prove it, and I think that they will. So my prediction is going to be Spurs 1, Leicester 0. Up next, Nice versus Nantes. I have been patiently waiting for the other shoe to drop on Nice in Ligue 1 this season because they usually aren't this nice. But with new manager Lucien Favre in charge, who was the Bundesliga Manager of the Year less than 2 years ago with Borussia Mönchengladbach, and who is someone who's not afraid to take risks, like with the signing of Mario Balotelli, they are building something special, as evidenced by their superb start to the season, 8 wins and 2 draws in 10 games, and that deserves our respect. So my prediction in this one, Nice 2, Nantes 0. And now, here's some of the other things I'll be paying attention to. Like whether Sydney FC will stay perfect this weekend against the Newcastle Jets. So far, they've scored 9 goals and have given up 0 in 3 A-League games this season. Then I'll be spying on all the Premier League teams that suffered losses midweek in the EFL Cup, like Manchester City and Chelsea, just to see how they respond. But specifically City, because manager Pep Guardiola has never suffered through a 6-game winless streak in his career like he's doing right now. Then I'm definitely going to be aware of the top 5 clubs in La Liga who are only separated by 3 points. So any slip-ups against inferior opponents, and they're all playing against inferior opponents this weekend, could be the difference at the end of the season. Or how about the top 4 teams in Brazil all facing off against each other this weekend? Palmeiras is on top with 67 points, Flamengo has 61, Atletico MG has 59, and Santos has 58, but the pressure's on Santos. They're at home against Palmeiras, so if they can get the win and have everyone close the gap on Palmeiras' 6-point lead, then these last 5 games in the Brasileiro should be a lot of fun to watch. Also, listen to this. Due to the fact that the 12th place team in Liga MX is only 5 points behind 4th place, that is 9 teams separated by 5 points. I mean, Dios mio. And then the top 8 teams make the playoffs, and there's only 3 games left to go in the regular season. And shit, bad hombres, it is gonna be Loco and Mexico this weekend. And my game to watch in all of this loco-ness is the Red Hot Lyon, who have won 3 straight games to get themselves in the 8th and final playoff spot, hitting the road to face Puebla, who sit in 10th, only 2 points behind them. And finally, friends, the quarterfinals for the MLS playoffs are set, and like always, and like I referenced in rule number 1, I nailed my predictions from the other day. Leg 1 of this two-legged affair is this weekend, which the lower seed gets to host, meaning the LA Galaxy will welcome the Rapids of Colorado into town, and I think LA is gonna win this one, but it'll be close. The Seattle Sounders, who used the referees to their full advantage and their one shot on goal to beat my Sporting Kansas City last night, will host the top-seeded FC Dallas, and I think it'll be a draw. The Montreal Impact convincingly won 3-0 without Didier Drogba last night, but apparently he's coming back from injury and should be ready to go against the New York Red Bulls, which means he's gonna disrupt the flow, which means they're gonna lose. And in the who spends more money on designated players derby, Toronto FC hosts NYCFC, and based on what I saw the other night, I think TFC gets the victory. Okay, that's it. That is all I got. So pick your 5 games, give me your predictions for those 5 games, and if you do better than me, I'll either praise or curse your name on Monday's show. See you tomorrow. Later.
NYPD, hype division, alright? Whenever there's too much hype, I'm there to shut it down.
Aren't you a little short to be a cop?
Aren't you a little old to be a YouTuber?